All right, GM everyone, thank you for joining. We are super excited about today's stream because we have a ton of amazing guests from the BNB Chain ecosystem. I'm Luisa. I'm part of the LiveArt team, and my primary role at LiveArt is to bring the art asset class on chain. Today, we're going to be kind of discussing RWAs on BNB Chain and how RWAs are building a $10 trillion market on chain. We have incredible guests joining us from BNB Chain, the chain itself, which is awesome, Pickwe, and the Miracle. Now, before we get started, as you can see, we have a full house today. We'd love to start with some intros from everyone joining us. So, Pete, why don't we start with you from Pickwe?
Yeah, thank you very much. Super happy to be here. GM, everybody, or GM in the PM, as I like to say, for those who are obviously in the morning and the afternoon. So nice coverage. But yeah, I am the global strategy and community lead here at Pickwe. I guess a bit of a journey for myself of Web3. Joined the space in 2020, where I left my job of 15, 20 years, I think it was something like that, in Web2. And I actually went over to join the Cool Cats team initially and helped build out all their kind of partnerships and collabs, did their biz dev stuff, got them into NFT NYC, got them into Macy's Day Parade, loads of big collabs there. Went to work with the Habbo team, helped them build out their NFT project on that side. Worked with a team over at the Grapes, helped build out their whole community strategy, TGE launch, all the rest of it. Worked with a company for a little while, helping them out with their AI development as well, called Redacted Studios. Now over at Pickwe, helping them, build out their project globally, build out their community on all things DeFi and TradeFi. I've done everything in the space that you can possibly think of, and everything in Web2 that you could possibly think of as well. So I'm hyped to be part of the growth, and hyped to be part of this conversation. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Nice, love it. Kareem.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys. Nice to be here. My background, it's in the entertainment business. So I built my first company like plus minus 15 years ago in the entertainment business. Like I worked with a lot of artists worldwide. We did a lot of campaigns for them. We worked closely to certain drops, like in the music area, in the movie area. We did productions for them. So my connection, I would say on the culture side, it's really deep. And the connection regarding blockchain technology, tokenization, is something that I grew up regarding with my father. That was an early supporter of the Web 1. And I grew up like with PCs, with technology. So it was always something at home, having all the technology and the culture stuff. So that's why when the whole NFT hype came up, I really saw these two dots connecting for me. And I really love the power behind having, the culture on chain, culture tokenized. So really bullish on this, and happy to be here. Yeah, thank you very much.
Great. And Mo, would you also quick intro?
Yeah, very quick intro. Head of BD and shareholder of the Miracle. I came from a very boring traditional enterprise. I was business admin and sales specialist at Mercedes, and then the last 8 years before crypto, I was area manager at Vodafone. I created an agency a few years ago, started to advising luxury brands. At the moment when I met Karim at NFT Paris, it clicked immediately because I love the project. Since then, I started to advise them and am now full port on the Miracle.
Great. And Ben.
Absolutely, yeah, guys. Hey, everybody. So I'm from the BNB Chain Foundation. I work closely with our ecosystem, with many projects, DeFi, AI, whatever it is. But I'm currently mostly involved in the RWA space. This has been an increasingly important category here, I would say, for the past 6 months. You saw the big announcement already from the big asset managers, big tokenization platforms. We have around 800 million in our real-world assets tokenized at the moment on BNB Chain, at least the ones that we're tracking fully. I've been part of the tokenization initiative, let's say, since 2020. We had a small tokenization platform back then as well that was acquired by another project. Been in the space actually for quite a while, and glad to contribute now to BNB Chain, which was a top 5 ecosystem when I joined. Now it's top 3. So it's been growing steadily since then.
Love it. And last but not least, Boris.
Hey guys, I'm Boris Pevsner. I'm the co-founder of LiveArt. I am, just a bit about me, I'm a 5-time tech founder. Built and exited companies to Christie's, to Viacom, and other companies. I've been deep in crypto since 2017, working on the intersection of technology, markets, and culture. Specifically at LiveArt right now, what we're doing is super exciting. I think it's really unlocking the $10 trillion market for cultural assets. Everything from Picasso paintings to Rolex watches to vintage Ferraris. And by unlocking, I mean that in the past, only billionaires could afford it, and now we're bringing it on chain where anybody can own a piece of it. So we turn these real-world treasures into tokenized, fractionalized, tradable tokens, and that means that anybody, anywhere, can own a piece of the world's greatest art and collectible, not just billionaires and institutions. So that's what we do under the hood. LiveArt combines AI, DeFi, and RWA infrastructure. So our AI agent scans global markets to find assets. Our tokenization layer makes them liquid and transparent. And our DeFi platform makes them composable across chains. So what excites me most is that RWAs are finally bringing culture and capital together. And this isn't just about tokenizing things, it's about really democratizing access to the world's cultural wealth. And that means that suddenly it's just easy to trade a Picasso as it is to trade a coin on Binance or PancakeSwap. So I think it's exciting times. Sounds like for all of us in this space, especially on BNB Chain, being a leader in the RWA and tokenization, and really, really happy to be here.
Thank you, Boris. And you kicked us off with the icebreaker, which is what are you building and what excites you the most about the rise of RWAs. So Pete, would love to hear your take very quickly. What are you building and what excites you the most about the rise of RWAs?
Having to double check my mic. I'm always on mute. I mean, yeah. So over at Pickwe, we are building, an infrastructure, essentially, that unlocking omni-chain liquidity, securing real-world value, and building the settlement layer, bridging TradeFi and DeFi. So we're taking pretty much global economy and bringing that value securely and safely for businesses. They can grow value in their assets, and investors can focus on growing wealth in their investments. And I think the big question around security at the moment, it highlights a huge need in the space right now and globally to actually bring these assets that have a real business foundation to them and value to them, bring these assets on chain in a completely decentralized way, and building that settlement layer, allowing it to be omni-chain, and increasing the protection both for businesses and investors alike. So it's a whole infrastructure built around the aspect of RWAs and creating these decentralized exchanges specifically for RWAs, and bringing in a number of key features along the way to keep everyone safe, keep everyone secure, and allow these assets to grow in value, and allow these businesses to grow in value safely as well, and breaking away from the trends of traditional fundraising in Web3, which I think has been a key focus, if you like, especially over some of the things that have happened over the last few months and years actually with investment in Web3. It's clear that this whole range of security, the whole range of how the infra is built at the moment, definitely needs to change. And this is what PicWe is focused on, making that change. We've built out the infrastructure, and we're now, releasing those protocols, releasing the products to the world globally, and bringing those assets on chain. One of the first ones that we've done, which is the IHP, was the hydropower project, is a clear example of how these fundamentals 100% work. And we were really impressed. We had the 1 million which was raised, I think it's 24 hours, 10 million market cap. So it's real, it exists, the want and need is there, and yeah, we've now got the infrastructure and the tech to deliver what's needed. But yeah, super excited.
Love it. Thank you so much. And then Kareem, the icebreaker, I'll say it one more time just in case you need a refresh. So what are you building and what excites you the most about the rise of RWAs?
Awesome. So what we do at the Miracle, it's making benefits accessible, decoding user behavior, understand, okay, I believe like a lot of wallets are just numbers for a lot of brands or projects. They see a wallet address, they don't know really what they care, they don't know what they're really interested in, how they convert, how they interact. So this is something that the Miracle really wants to decode and help projects and brands to understand, okay, hey, you're into art. Hey, this is the cohort that it's interested in art. And this is a problem that we have, the disconnection on Twitter, on Discord, on all these platforms, that we see a lot of numbers, a lot of followers, but are there really the wallets that care about what you're doing? Are they converting? Are they buying? Are they collecting and interacting? So I think this is something that the Miracle is decoding, helping to understand the data better, and making the benefits and the rewards tied to certain assets accessible. So helping, if you're a holder and you're eligible for a lot of cool stuff, making these things eligible and accessible, and helping the projects and the brands and the platforms understand better the data they're interacting with. And yeah, we saw, I think, something that it feels really cold or really technical, really transactional. It's still like the whole tokenization. So it's an investment tool, of course. This is one thing, but I believe it will shift more in this cultural thing. So we see it also on TikTok and all the young generation that starts more to be part of the whole movement. Like they follow somebody, they follow an artist, a musician, and an influencer, and they want to be part of the journey. And I think this is our duty, to connect these dots and bring the people together and helping them trigger the right incentives. And I think data is really important, and this is what the Miracle does, and where I see great potential regarding tokenizations to really make the right decisions as a brand, as a project, push the right dots together and activate the right cohorts for you.
Great. Anything you'd like to add, Mo, on your side?
I think he explained it very well, and yeah, I cannot add more to it.
And Ben, anything that excites you about the rise of RWAs on BNB Chain?
The excitement is quite high on the primary issuance, but I believe the real value and unlocking of potential is going to come when there's going to be a very, very vibrant secondary market. So we have it at the moment in small, on a smaller scale, and users and retail and just us, I guess, are here that need to push those things the most. We are the ones that are going to need this, and this is for me the most exciting, which is to come and to evolve in the next 5 years for sure.
Awesome, thank you so much. And now that we've kind of gone through all of the intros and learned a little bit more about your product, I'd love to turn on to the first set of questions, which will be with you, Ben, actually. So RWAs are projected to hit 18.9 trillion by 2033, which is mind-blowing. We've seen the market just in the past 2 years grow tremendously. So how does BNB Chain see its role in powering this ongoing growth within the RWA tokenization sector?
Yeah, so BNB Chain is here an infrastructure provider. So we are basically here to ensure seamless settlement worldwide, which we are basically facilitating with 60 validators. Half of them are basically block producing. I would say we're focusing on scaling the layer 1 blockchain. This is our current focus, and I believe the main focus going forward. It's EVM compatible, so it's the easiest to develop on top of BNB Chain. But BNB Chain is actually more than most people know. So it's not only the BNB Chain layer 1. BNB Chain actually has also an integrated decentralized data storage solution, which enables storing of easily retrievable data, which is important in some use cases. But obviously the main focus is still the BNB Chain layer 1. It currently has 0.75 second block times. It has one of the fastest finalities in the whole blockchain space, even faster than the fastest that are perceived as the fastest in the industry. So our finality at the moment is around 2 seconds.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's incredible. Thank you. And I know a lot of people have joined the stream in the past couple of minutes, so thank you and welcome. We are discussing with the BNB Chain ecosystem how we're building a $10 trillion market on chain. Everybody here has very different products, so super interesting takes. I'd also want to quickly highlight that we encourage you to share the stream, share it with your friends, your audience, your community. And we will be touching base in a couple of minutes on our launch today on BNB Chain, which is David Hockney. We are very, very excited about it. We will be sharing this little QR code that will take you to the buy page for this asset and tell you a little bit more about it in a minute. So thank you again for joining. Come back here. And now I'm going to turn to you, Pete, with Piqui. So you're building the bridge between traditional finance and DeFi through infrastructure layers. So in your opinion, how does better settlement and security help RWAs grow faster?
Awesome question. Absolutely love it. I think when we look at like settlement and security, I think for security especially, I mean settlement is in this as well as part of the security, but there's 2 points. So you've got both like the security for the business and the investor, but then you also have the tech security, right? That kind of folds into that as well. So I think building out the right infra is going to be hyper important for RWA. And I think if we compare like the history, right, like how has fundraising, how has investment been done over the last few years for Web3? So we've got hype for memes, speculation, like that's kind of the culture that's built out. But the issue with this is that it doesn't hold any real value, right? 90% of the fundraising that was done, like it's not built on a strong business foundation. Don't get me wrong, there are a few exceptions to this, and it's why some projects in Web3 have done really well. But it's clear that for RWA, when we're looking at these real world assets, it needs a new model, right? So I mean, if we look at some of the issues that we've experienced, I suppose recently, it's clear that the want and need for the more secure infra is desperately needed, and this is what we've built over at Piqui. So I think when you get the settlement right, when you get the security right, trades settle faster, everyone can trust the process, it opens doors for more people, and bigger players, they can get involved with it. It's not just then looking at businesses, you've then got larger institutional things that can come involved. Governments can get involved. So like we did with the hydropower projects, that we had, the institutional and governments for Kyrgyzstan that were involved in that. So it becomes a much bigger play. So at PicWe, we see this as a bridge between trust and growth. So strong security keeps cultural assets safe and authentic, while reliable settlement helps creators and collectors and investors, move with confidence. So I think I said at the beginning that, real business can focus on growing their value in their assets. And investors, it means that they can just focus on growing wealth in their investment, but it's all while securing real world value to tangible assets. So, how do we do this? Well, we built in, key features. So we have like a treasury pool that has APY payouts and bonding curves. We've got downside protection. So every trade adds funds to a treasury. This means that the floor price never falls, it only rises. And then the omni-chain settlement, you've got no risky third-party bridges, no custodians, no delays, works natively across PicWe's omni-chain infrastructure, so BNB Chain, Ethereum, Arbitrum, Movement, and more. We then have the stablecoin, which is so PicWe, which is USD, which is PicWe's native stablecoin. Now this is pegged at 1 USDC, and it's immune to depegging risks faced by the algorithms, and it's fully decentralized, meaning it's fully controlled by smart contracts, not by centralized authority, and it's completely permissionless, verifiable, and fully transparent on chain. So, a number of features, and what's the result? You've got, RWAs with value and liquidity that grow faster. You have easier trades, and it becomes part of a more open and connected global economy. Settlement and security, massively important. And if we get it right, it can, help grow the global economy massively. And that's what we're building over at PicWe. And that's, one of the reasons I think RWA is going to be the future.
Amazing. That's great. Definitely agree with that. The Miracle. So you guys have a very unique product offering where you enable people like us at LiveArt to really understand user cohorts within wallets, specifically MetaMask. So how do you see that kind of personalization driving adoption and loyalty in the RWA space?
Yeah, I have a great example that I remember when I bought the first tokenized art piece some years ago. And I never came back to check about pricing, because I think you have always different verticals. You have the guys that see the opportunities to invest and make money out of it. And the other part that I count in, it's being part of something, being part of a cultural movement, own something that in the full scale, it's impossible to own, because it's too expensive or it's not reachable or whatever. So I bought a piece of it's an artist called Tupac. So there's a famous song of him, and they tokenized the textbook, and you could buy a piece of it. So for me, in the beginning, it was really having this, because I'm culturally, my background, like I said, it's from the music entertainment area. So this was really a cool buy-in for me, but it was not about money. So I think, Pete said, some people are coming to make money. They want to do more money. It's fast. There's liquidity, stuff like that. That's one part. And the other part, it's really being part of something, being part of a movement. So I bought this piece, but I never had any other activations from this kind of thing. So I'm owning this, but there's no, for example, access to a museum of Tupac, or there's no events, or there's no digital ownership additionally that I can maybe unlock and claim. And I think this is missing on some tokenized assets, that if we invite people to own something that it's normally difficult to own in a full scale, we need also to retain them and reactivate them and give them an opportunity to be more closely to the brand or to the project or to the art piece or whatever. So I see there a massive gap. And what the Miracle wants to solve, it's having these tailored opportunities if you own certain pieces. So if I own this Tupac textbook, I should get some rewards maybe that is tailored to my taste, because the on-chain activity shows, hey, this guy is interested in music, so let's offer them from another brand maybe, or from the owner of the piece or whatever, some benefits, some rewards, activations, so I can scale. I have a great retention tool, and we can bring in more people, because I don't think we will onboard people just because it's a tool to make money. I think it is also the cultural aspect and having ownership about stuff that normally you cannot own. So I think we should mix this up, and having a good cocktail of hey, you can make money out of it, it's an investment, but hey, you can also own something that gives you something unique and special and has a story behind.
For sure, that's a great story. Love Tupac. Mo, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, he touched it already, but most of the RWA platforms are really concentrating on what do they want to tokenize, but they don't really think about for whom. And this is basically this missing gap that we are solving, because we analyze the wallet behavior, the on-chain history. We are seeing like patterns, and basically we see the real user for what he is outside of the ecosystem where he's client. And if you what we learned is, if you bring them rewards that resonates with their on-chain activity or with their real life, you will have a much better, let's say, long-term relation, because the user sees that the platform is understanding them beyond, oh, they bought the RWA off. So the example that Karim did is really amazing, because in my times where I consulted Diesel, for example, they also brought out in fashion an NFT that gave you access to a fashion show, and this is something that is missing, and this is basically our edge, that we really understand the client on your platform, and we really let's say fit the rewards to the on-chain persona, and I think this will make the difference in the future, instead of having those generic advertisements or those generic rewards. This will definitely help a lot in terms of relation, and let's say that our client or your client becomes a fan of your platform.
Absolutely. And so that's I think a great transition to the future of ownership in cultural assets. So Boris, art, luxury assets are coming on chain. They're starting to make their way into DeFi. It's all happening on BNB Chain this week. How does LiveArt, in your opinion, sees ownership evolving as more and more assets move on chain?
I learned a lot from the other panelists here. It was really interesting. The way I think about the evolution of blockchain adoption, it's actually pretty simple. So the first big use case of blockchain was money, right? It was sort of proving that we could move value without intermediaries. And this next, and I believe enduring as money use case, is ownership. So that's bringing real assets like art, real estate, collectibles, bringing them on chain, where they can actually move, trade, interact with DeFi protocols for things like collateralization, lending, and borrowing, precisely as Karim just mentioned, not just sitting there and being owned, but also doing something within the DeFi ecosystem. And so on BNB Chain, this vision is really coming to life, right? It's where real assets meet real users, lots of users on BNB Chain and within the Binance ecosystem, and increasingly, as Ben just highlighted, fast scalable environment that makes culture liquid for the first time. And now, what'd you say, Ben? It's like $800 million worth of AUM, tokenized assets, so growing really, really fast. So actually, for us, what we are doing, we are launching a perfect example of this today on BNB Chain. It's a tokenized artwork by David Hockney, an artist who has actually outperformed Bitcoin for the past decade. So you can think of artists as, art that speaks to you as an aesthetic object or perhaps a decorative object. And there are many ways to think about art, but you can also think about it as an asset class. And historically, over the last 30 years, that's been an extremely, well-performed asset class. And this particular artist is, one of the top 20 artists in the world by market cap. And his work has outperformed Bitcoin. So in terms of appreciation, there are all sorts of metrics. If you go to liveart.io/analytics, you can research any artist as if the artist were, any coin or a stock or any kind of a financial instrument. Of course, you can also see the artwork and connect with that personally, but you also can research the artist as a financial product, as if it were a financial product. So this, I know that Luis is about to speak more about this. This is kind of like this work of David Hockney is coming on chain, right? We're bringing it to BNB Chain, which means that this value is now going to be on-chain value. It's going to be, BNB Chain TVL. So to me, that's the future of ownership, right? When culture itself becomes part of the digital economy, and when owning a piece of art really feels as natural as owning a token. And you get not just the aesthetic pleasure from it and satisfaction from it, but also the economic satisfaction by owning something that has been performing quite well in the past and hopefully will continue to do so in the future, except now with much expanded audience on-chain, with much lower price of entry, right? Because you don't have to pay millions of dollars to own such items. Now you can do that for a fraction of that. So that's what makes me excited. I think it's a super interesting time to be alive. I've been in crypto for about 8 years. I've been in the art world, for the last 20, 25 years, having sold one of my previous companies to Christie's. So just seeing these two worlds that I love converge is extremely exciting.
That's a great segue into yes, Kareem. Hold on, let me unmute you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to ask something like regarding if a user on LiveArt buys, for example, a piece of this Hockney, and like, is it like how many, like if you have like 100 buyers, for example, or 1,000 that buy a piece of this, how many are really interested into the art, or how many sees this just as an investment?
Wasn't it incredible? I was going to ask you that question because you have the data, right? You can help us answer that question. I can answer this question anecdotally. I would say that usually we have for each artwork we have a few thousand buyers, right? A few thousand, let's say, wallets who bought it. My guess is that about 2/3 of them buy it as crypto buyers would buy it, right? They do momentum trading or whatever. Basically, they're traders and investors. And about 1/3 are buying it for the art. They're buying it to hold. They want to either invest in art because they know something about art, or they want to hold it because there are additional utilities that this token provides to them that get them various things. Like in some cases, we offer a print of an artist. We've done that in the past, not for this particular piece. So there are additional utilities that are specifically art related. But precisely to your point and the point of your company and the value proposition that you guys bring to the market, we do not know precisely. And of course, we would love to know, because then we would be able to tune the utility of this token more precisely, right, for the audience and the various audience segments. So that's why I was listening with great interest what you had to say, and I'm sure we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, really interesting point, and I think it will be really I'm really curious to do a deep dive and understand this better, because I see also great opportunities to activate people in the right way in the end. And it's art. It's also this piece. It's so beautiful. So I think in the end, if the right people, like if you could go up in the number and you have really art interested people buying this and unlocking more stuff like utility you mentioned, this could be really interesting, because then you have like loyal people that will come back not just to make money, they will come back also to be part of the whole journey of LiveArt and all the pieces you will tokenize. Or so yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, well, it's like sometimes we describe it as It's a way to build a museum quality portfolio. Really, some of the top artworks that would normally be sold for millions of dollars and live in museums, you can build it digitally for a fraction of that cost. Now, you still own a piece of this artwork. Financially, you own a portfolio that will perform in a way similar to if these artworks were sold at an auction, except that you own it for a few $100s or a few $1,000s, as opposed to millions, right? And but the quality of the artworks is the same as you would find at a museum.
Yeah, yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think this journey of RWAs right now is like, it's incredible to watch as it develops. And I think I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently, and he had a job opportunity between Discord and Google, right? And he decided to go with Google in the end, and he missed out on millions in shares for Discord. And this is very similar in, if you buy into these RWAs, what are these shares essentially going to be worth in X amount of time as obviously RWAs start pumping, right? We're going to start seeing a whole new vibe, a whole new, culture as these develop. What's that going to build into? And it's going to be amazing to watch over the coming months, over the coming years, as this, this dive goes even deeper. So I just wanted to kind of add on to this point, just that, yeah, it's going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah.
Here.
Love it. All right, so I'm going to give a quick intro into David Hockney, which is the drop that we have today. I have a QR code here. I'm going to hide it for a minute, but you can scan it at any time. And it'll take you directly to the page where this asset is live. So David Hockney is an artist outperforming Bitcoin, and we're going to show you different ways in which he has. He is considered the Picasso of our time. So he has a $2 billion market cap, and he has outperformed assets like gold, Bitcoin, and real estate consistently over time, particularly over the past 7 years. He's also always been a big advocate for technology. He started doing like digital drawings on his iPad a really, really long time ago. And he's always kind of reinvented himself and his art, so he's stayed relevant for a long period of time. He's collected by billionaires, so David Geffen, Joe Louis have been known for adding his works to their collection. With LiveArt, you can now own it. So you don't need millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars to enter this market. You don't need to worry about insurance and shipping and handling. We take care of all of that for you. All of our assets are secured in museum-grade vaults that allow us to kind of maintain them in the best condition possible. And we also have one of the most prestigious networks of sellers to acquire these pieces. So everything that you acquire on LiveArt is 100% real. It is by a world famous artist. We try to focus on the highest possible market caps. And it's also at a really advantageous price point. Today's paper pool by David Hockney is actually, you can enter at 10 cents per fraction, which is pretty incredible. And we'll have also very special perks associated with your purchase today. So one more thing I want to mention is that we have a below market entry price for this particular asset. We'll dive into the details on our post on X. We'll share a blog post and we'll share a quick video that walks you through the details and information about the print, but it is a really, really advantageous price point. Now, he's also a top performer. In 2018, he smashed records. He was in every single news outlet that you can imagine because of this particular work, which is featuring a pool trade, the same pool trade that we have in the piece that we're offering on LiveArt today. This pool went for $90 million at Christie's, and it's been one of the highest results by a living artist to date. Now it's your time to own it. As I said, the asset you can acquire at 10 cents per fraction. We have 600,000 fractions available, which gives you, the below market kind of entry price point that we were talking about. Now, a special perk for the BNB Chain community is that we have a badge. We will make an announcement on X in a couple of hours after the stream, where you can complete the quest. It's very simple, just 2 tasks, and you can claim your badge. And this badge will give you a 10% bonus on your fractions. So we're very excited to welcome all of the different members of the BNB Chain ecosystem and more. So if you know anybody that you think will be interested in this product, please share with them and they can claim this incredible badge. Now, some of the perks. So as we've said, you can claim your 10% fraction boost. Also, LiveArt community. So if you purchase fractions before on LiveArt, you can get a 15% fraction boost. And along with every purchase, you score 100 points on the LiveArt platform. It's the highest points that you are able to get per action on LiveArt. And we'll have different reward bands as well. So depending on your fraction holdings, you'll be able to unlock different fraction bonuses as well. We're very excited. This is a very high demand artist and asset. So we hope to see you there. Enjoy the perks. And yeah, that is it. And I'll share our QR code one more time so you can scan it. It'll take you directly to the page. Any questions, please join our Discord or send us a message on X, and we will, we'll make sure to answer any questions that you have. Now, we are in the end of our stream, and we have one question, which is a hot take. So, and we'll start, I guess, with you, Kareem, since we've sort of ended on your side. What is one bold prediction you have for RWAs in 2026?
One prediction. Okay, I'm not mute.
One prediction you have.
That's a good one. My goal or my guess is that more people from outside of blockchain will enter blockchain without knowing they're entering blockchain, or general like the tokenization market. So I think this is the biggest guess I have, and I think we all are waiting on this so that people can access, they can buy stuff with Apple Pay, they can enter with Google login, stuff like that. The whole friction of this complicated seed phrases or swapping tokens will be removed step by step, and people will be part of the whole journey that we know and we believe since years in, without knowing they're really part of the gang now. So that's my take, and looking forward to that, to onboard 50 million, 100 million new people that are really they have buy power and are part of the new journey that we are waiting.
Awesome. Mo, what about you?
Yeah, I also wanted to say that probably RWAs will be the first, let's say, Web3 vertical who will onboard more than hundreds of millions of people. And we will probably see, let's say, a change from financial instrument to that RWAs will be belonging to your personal identity.
Nice. Ben, what's one prediction?
Well, I believe that the biggest user base is, as you said, Kareem, is going to come from people probably that are not going to even know that they're going to use a blockchain, but it's going to go even further than that. It's going to be probably big asset managers that are going to, allocate and manage based on their strategies. So this is, very, very soon to be seen also. With governments, with public entities, those are the ones that are going to move then the big liquidity at the end of the day. But of course, the users should always remain at the center. If the user benefit is clear, then it's only a matter of time until the institutions have to adopt it.
Nice. Pete, what's one bold prediction?
I think, yeah, just to kind of follow on from, I think the points that have already been made. I think the onboarding side for our, RWAs is really the push. I think here because like the tech side, I think has probably been one of the most confusing aspects for onboarding into Web3. And with RWA, it's as long as you make it simple, accessible, and easy. So the Web2 experience then doesn't just fall on average Joe. It's then much bigger than that. You're looking at governments, institutions, large businesses, and then the assets that then become available, absolutely huge. And then everyone's going to want a piece of that. And yeah, the mass onboarding potential will be incredible. And I think that the sooner that's realized, the better, because I think the global economy right now could really do with some, RWA goodness, in my opinion.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with that more. And last but not least, Boris, one bold prediction for 2026.
I think that, to put it simply, RWAs are going to be the largest category in DeFi. So I firmly believe that, as I said earlier, right, it's sort of the use case that's going to dominate all other use cases, perhaps with the exception of money itself. And in the process, it will fundamentally redefine what ownership means. Because, once you can hold a piece of a Picasso or a penthouse or a Porsche in your wallet and then use it in DeFi, securitize it, and so on, that's when blockchain, it stops being theoretical for most people. It still is, right? Not us here, but the most people in the world, it's still kind of a theoretical. But with this, it will become part of everyday life. So that's when we all talk about next billion people adopting blockchain, this is what's going to bring them to it. And I'm absolutely positive about it, especially as the next generation enters the financial markets and investment and trading and so on. They will do so on blockchain. They will not do so in traditional finance. I know that for a fact because I have young kids. 8 and 12 years old, and I wanted to get them into investing just recently. Like, all right, theoretical, just putting the pennies, a couple of $100 into what I thought would be stocks and bonds, giving them a lecture like an old person would, about how to put together your portfolio. And then I realized, well, instead of downloading one of those, traditional finance apps, why not just download like a Trust Wallet or MetaMask, and then have them invest into Bitcoin and Ethereum? All right, but on Trust Wallet you can now get a Tesla, Robinhood, S&P 500, an index fund, all tokenized, right? So it's all RWAs. So I'm already seeing that in the future, this is how the world is going to look like. They're going to be investing in Tesla and Picasso and in Bitcoin on their wallets, and this is the next billion people. So I'm absolutely convinced it's the future. Now, 2026, I think already is going to be, DeFi, RWAs are going to be the largest category in DeFi. But I think going from there, it's going to be trillions. So super exciting time to be alive.
All right. Well, thank you, Boris. That was an amazing take. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Really appreciated your time. I'm going to just do this one more time because why not? It's great. It's launching today. The QR code is right here. And we hope to see you all on our stream next week. And thank you, everyone from the BNB Chain ecosystem. Bye.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
Bye.